Good afternoon, everybody. Talk a little bit about knives. I dove into a collection today, pulled out random knives out of my collection. So some expensive ones, some cheap ones, some in-between ones. Figured we'd do a little chit-chat in case any of you out there looking to buy a pocket knife. This is strictly about folders and pocket knives. First off, you're going to buy a pocket knife, get the best one you can get within your budget. Try to stay away from El Cheapo knives, but there are some out there that, El Cheapo ones that are okay, I guess. But you work with what's in your budget. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about a couple things. What to look for. Alright, now a lot of you have seen these M-Tech knives out here, okay? These two of them right here, for instance, these two are dragged out. Now, M-Tech, generally speaking, makes a crappy knife. However, there are a couple out there of theirs that I do like. One thing to keep in mind, people, M-Tech, Smith & Wesson, United, Master, a lot of these brands make a lot of these brand blades are made by the same manufacturer. They just have different, they're just sold off the different brand names. But they're all pretty much made by the same manufacturer. For the most part, there's some that are exclusively made for certain brands, but most of the time, those companies, named the cheaper companies, have all the same knives. That's why if you open up a certain catalogs, you'll see 3 different knives, 3 different companies, but all look exactly the same. All right. Anyway, let's get back to it. Now, this is an M-Tech. It's called M-Tech Extreme. I picked this up. I checked this out in a local store. It's really lightweight. I like the blade design, and it locks in really, really tight. It's pretty sharp. It is 440C, so it's not horrible steel, not great steel, but not horrible. 440 gets a bad rap, but 440 is a decent steel. I mean, for what it is. Now, this is M-Tech, and this was about $30. I paid for this, I think. It's got a strong lock, pretty good. Is it worth $30? Probably not. This is probably a $20 knife to me, but wasn't bad for the money. Now, this is also an M-Tech. Now, I got this because I like the seatbelt cutter. Heavy, really heavy, for no reason. If you look at the blade, you see that movement in there? That's no good. When you open a knife, you want to check locking front to back and how it locks side to side. Now, some knives can be adjusted to fix that, but keep that in mind. That's what you want to check. Don't walk into a store seeing a knife look like this. Say, wow, the laser etched, digicam pattern and the seatbelt cut and a window glass breaker. Think, wow, that's a cool knife. Pick it up. It's real heavy. Well, is it heavy because it's a good knife, or is it heavy because they want it to feel like a good knife? Something to keep in mind. Now, my buddy of mine, Reaper, I don't know. I'm not gonna say his entire name because it's way too long. Real cool guy, talks a lot about knives. He was just recently talking about Smith & Wesson and how they should stick to making guns, and he's 100% right. Here's 2 Smith & Wesson knives here. Okay. Now this one I picked up at a yard sale with a couple other knives. This is a Smith & Wesson knife. Is it sharp? Yes. They put slap on there, extreme ops, make you think the military uses this. But when I tell you, got some serious play in the blade, look at that. See if we can get a good shot of that for you guys. It's no good. Lock strong this way, front to back. It's got a strong lock. Side to side, no good. It's a nice piece of crap. He's right. Smith & Wesson stick to making guns. Now, this is also a Smith & Wesson. This is a Smith & Wesson and M&P. The military and police, like they have ARs that are slapped M&P. Uh-oh, I said AR. Watch out, YouTube might ban this. This is a spring assist, by the way. Spring assist, not a switchblade. This is legal to own. Okay. Now, I do like this knife. Again, it's got a shitty side-to-side lock. Crap. Front to back is good, but I care about this. I don't like this when I'm working with it. It drives me nuts. Right? But it is nice and sharp. It is a decent blade. This was, at the time, I think this was like $45. Was it worth it? Yeah, all right. I'll give it that. Maybe $30. But it was, not a bad knife. It does a little gas breaker. I hate when knives float side to side. It drives me nuts. There's really nothing that special about it as regular spring assist. And to clarify something, Guys, spring assist and switchblades are completely different. They function similar, but they're completely different. Switchblade, you have to push a button or some kind of switch that allows a spring to engage the knife automatically on its own. A spring release is just that, okay? A spring assist is, this has got a little thing to help. It's basically like a flipper. A spring assist means you have to put some kind of pressure by your own doing on the blade to start the opening action, and then a spring takes over. There's a difference. Switchblade or a full spring-loaded knife, whether it be a single action out the front, dual action out the front, whatever, you have to push a button or a switch that engages the mechanism. When you spring assist, means you're engaging the blade yourself, and the spring is assisting in it opening. Very similar. Okay. Now, you want to go even cheaper. Okay. This is a master cutlery. Now, interesting enough, it's got a thick blade. It's got a strong side-to-side lock, a strong front-to-back lock. All right. Got a nice grip. But in reality, this, I think I paid $10, $11 for this knife. It's really a piece of crap. It's got a freaking bolt design on it, some crap like that. But would it make a decent self-defense knife? Yeah, absolutely. It's got a keep sharp blade, nice decent tip. My point about this, guys, is that if you're carrying something, there's a difference between a folder that you're carrying for bushcraft and working with, and when you're carrying for self-defense. My point being, you don't need the best knife in the world for self-defense. Something like this will do the trick. It's got a nice point. It's sharp. It's a lower grade steel, but it's also easier to sharpen. All right, it's got partially serrated. I'm not a big fan of partially serrated, but partially serrated. Right, but this is a good self-defense knife. I mean, it really is. But it's not something that is worth any more than what I paid for. In fact, it's probably worth less. But again, if this is for self-defense, you can go with almost any of these would work for self-defense. But you do want to make sure that it locks in tight. All right. Now, again, on the lower end of things, now not every low-end knife, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's necessarily a piece of crap. Now, this knife here locks excellent front to side, side to side, front to back. The grip on this thing I just freaking love. I love the way it fits in my hand perfectly. If I want to use it to fight with, it still grips in my fingers perfectly. It's just a real nice knife. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I paid $8 for this knife, but it locks in beautifully. The opening mechanism on it is just real smooth. Real smooth. I mean, really, it's real smooth. Look at that. Okay, it's really a nice knife, guys. All right, I mean, and it's cheap. I really like it. Some of you are going to hate it, but I love it. This is an awesome self-defense knife. It's got a real piercing point. It's got a, a basic, semi-tanto style blade. I really like this knife, and this was cheap. I carry this every now and then. I switch it up when I want to carry this because I just love it. So cheap isn't always bad. Just got to know what you're looking at, right? So let's move on to a little bit more of the higher end. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a minute. The dog's going a little crazy. Now, higher end, starting real high up. This is an SOG Vision Titanium. Okay, this knife retails for about $200. Locks really strong and everything. However, I don't like it. I don't like the way the pocket clip sits. I think it sits terrible in my pocket. The arc lock is nice, which is what they call this. However, one thing I found about this knife is that unless you have it tight, I got this and it was very loose side to side out of the box. When I tighten it, I can't open it fast. It does open smooth and quietly, but it should be able to open with just the arc lock. I should be able to pull this down and flip it open. And see, it doesn't want to do it. Now, SOG guarantees this knife for life. It's Japanese steel, very nice Japanese steel. Not all Japanese steel is bad. In fact, a lot of Japanese steels are way better than American steels. Hate to say that, guys. I don't like this. I think these are real sharp, and they've hurt my finger when I use it. I mean, let's say, look, you're working with this constantly. See that? Marks it leaves in your finger. So most expensive is not always best, is my point. It's a quality knife, but it's most expensive is not always the best. Now this is a Columbia River knife and tool. You guys have seen these. These are popular. Now this knife is just beautiful. It's got a dual locking system. So you have to pull it back here, and then the linear lock here to lock it. To unlock it, excuse me. It's got a nice flipper. It's nice smooth action. I mean, very little effort. It's not spring assist, but it functions almost as one, which I think is really cool. I could take this out. I could open this up quick. I don't think this is the best self-defense knife, as in this blade is big. It's a big blade, But Columbia River makes a really good knife. I'm not a big fan of single-edge knives like that. The chisel grind is not my favorite, but it's good for cutting through rope and cordage and stuff. But this is a good all-around survival knife, I think. I don't think this is the most practical for self-defense. This knife here was around, I think, $65 or so when I bought it. Okay, so just giving you an idea of what you get for your money. Great knife, good all-around utility knife. But however, it's big. I mean, the overall length of it is huge compared to these other knives. I mean, it's a big knife. So keep that in mind. But they designed it like that to work, so it's got a nice grip. Okay, this is a Spyderco. I forgot I had this one. Now this is about a $50, $60 Spyderco. Alright. This is 8CR13 steel. It's more of one of Spyderco's. This is one of their made in China knives. However, I've had this knife a long time. You can see how much it's been sharpened. You can see the blade. It gets used a lot. It doesn't hold an edge as quickly as well as I would like it to, but that's typical for 8CR13. It is like a knockoff's not the word, but it's some night people are going to disagree with me. It's not the great. It's not a horrible steel, but it's not the greatest steel. But it's okay. It's better than 3 and 2 CR13. I'll say that, which is what United makes a lot of their knives out of, which is low end steel. So this is a mid grade steel, pretty good. Some people say high end. I say mid grade. Lock's really strong. I mean, Spyderco's known for making good knives. For the price point, I think like I said, I want to say I spent $50 on the Spyderco. So this knife is worth its weight in gold to me. Okay, here you go. Here's an El Cheapo Schrade. I've showed you guys this a few times. This knife is probably like an $8 knife. Who knows how long ago I had this. Cheap polycarbonate handle. It's a lockback, which I like. Lockbacks is one of my favorite locking mechanisms. Used to be serrated, partially serrated. That's how much it's been sharpened. The knife's lasted me a lifetime. This knife has been through hell and back. It's been through more situations, more camping trips, more. You have no idea, guys, what this knife's been through, and it's still here. So cheap isn't always horrible. There you go. And of course, something that everybody should have, Swiss Army knife. If you're going to get a Swiss Army knife, buy a Victorinox or a name brand, but Victorinox is the way to go, in my opinion, for a Swiss Army knife. I've had this knife for, let's see, 16, 17, 18, almost 19 years I've had this knife. Long time. It's missing the tweezers by now. This knife, again, has been through hell and back. It's seen a lot. I mean, it's kind of scruffed up. I've had it a long time, as you can see. But you can't beat these. If you're going to get a Swiss Army knife, don't buy a $3, $4, $5 gas station special. They're just going to break. It's going to let you down. It's not going to do what you want. Buy a Victorinox, buy a Swiss Army knife. All right, guys. That's it. Oh, one more. I've almost forgotten. I wanted to mention the ridiculous. Okay. This. Straight razor. For self-defense. This is not Sons of Anarchy. Okay. This is, okay, you can use this for defense. It is a razor. It will cut. You can hit somebody with it. Whatever. Not practical. As a fighting weapon, I've seen guys try to fight with these things and get cut on them all the time. Not practical. A cool collector's piece. Yeah, you want to slip it in your sock or something as a backup. All right, I'm not saying you can't use it as a weapon. It's sharp, razor sharp, right? It's a razor. It will cut you. But it will definitely cut you deep to the bone. All my knives will. I keep them all pretty sharp. But generally speaking, these will cut you to the bone. But not something that's practical. Just saying. Something else. A little ridiculous, but I'm going to throw it in there as a joke. Look at the size of this. And this, again, spring assist, not switchblade, spring assist. Look at the size of this freaking knife. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Look at this thing. Look how far the pan the camera. I'm going to show you that. It's like literally like the length, almost the length of two knives. It's ridiculous. Something like this. All right, you want to carry this, fine. This thing's probably going to break. I mean, look at this thing. And by the way, I don't use this for anything. This is just made like crap out of the factory. But I mean, I could tighten it up if I wanted to and make it a little better, but I choose not to. But you want to carry something like this, I guess go ahead. A little ridiculous to me in my mind, but to each their own, like I always say. So, alright guys, that's it. Hope this helps if you're looking to purchase a knife or just some useless information, you know. But, alright buddy, stay safe, stay strong, take care.